Welcome to Speak for Yourself, sponsored by the Popeyes Chicken Sandwich. I'm Marcellus Wiley, and joining me for the first time making this Speak for Yourself debut is my man, Emmanuel Acha. Welcome. I'm excited for all the things we're going to get into, bro.
Yo, I'm excited. The first time, and it's going to be a long time.
Let's get it, man. Right now, we're going to start off with Cam Newton, who is still unemployed, which means he had plenty of time yesterday to write yet another inspirational Instagram post. This one shows Cam looking at himself in the mirror during a workout with the caption, "Honestly, you my only competition, bruh. I'm in a daily competition with your ass." Me versus me. Shine through the shade, not for likes, just for life. One love. Okay, Acho, after seeing this, are you worried about Cam's mindset?
Man, I'm not. What I'm worried about is Cam's health. That's what I'm worried about.
Mental health?
No, his physical health.
Okay.
Right, Cam Newton, I rock with Cam. Let me clarify one thing, what people need to know about me. I love Cam Newton.
Okay.
Have since day one. Like, that's my guy. I can't knock him. But when he's talking about the only thing stopping me is me, the only thing stopping Cam is his body. Let's go through the checklist, Marcellus.
Here we go.
2018, shoulder injury. Then later on that season, shoulder injury. They put him down for the season. 2019, everybody's ready. The hype is back. Cam Newton, literally a freakazoid. I mean, dude is built like a transformer. 6'5", 265, 260, just chiseled. Then 2019, he has the foot.
Yeah.
And then he tries to play through it, but it worsens, and then they put him down for the season again. Cam's only problem is Cam's health. Because when Cam is healthy, dude is an absolute dog, top 5 quarterback. The problem is, we haven't seen Cam be healthy in a mighty long time.
Well, Acho, see, you say you love Cam. No one loves Cam more than I. I'm his biggest defender, have been, will always be. And that's why I'm concerned about his mental health. I'm concerned with this post. This is the first time I saw a post from Cam. I'm like, I understand the guise of motivation and, you know what, it's me against the world. But this one sounded like a little doubtful in terms of Cam recognizing his greatness. We all get there in the journey of anybody in terms of their ambitions and goals. There's a frustration moment. The opportunity doesn't present itself, or you just can't go out there and use all of your fine powers if you're Cam Newton. But this is super Cam. And right now, this quarantine is his kryptonite. Like, he is starting to distance himself mentally to his greatness. Let's talk about who that is. Cam Newton fell victim to the wounded warrior culture that we all do. Go out there, no matter how you're feeling, how you feel inside, outside, just play. Oh, don't worry, we understand that you're compromised. Until that film comes on, and people forget that this is the 2015 MVP, 2018 MVP frontrunner before injury. I want Cam to remind himself, it's the opportunity that's keeping you distant from your greatness, not your ability.
Here is the problem, because I was thinking about this prepping for the show. First show, it's a big show.
It's on.
Pressure's on. And I was thinking about Cam and what you said. 2015 MVP. 2017 was a really strong season. But what you got to remember, a year in the NFL, that's like dog years. You feel me? One NFL year is really equivalent to about 7 real years.
Right. So you played 21 years?
Basically. See, I'm glad you can do that math.
Hey, boy.
I'm glad. You went to Columbia? You're smart. So when I think about Cam, I feel you in that he was great. He was very good in 2017. The problem is, for the Cam Newton skeptics, for the people that are doubting Cam Newton, you're saying, well, 2017 was a mighty long time ago. If you're Cam Newton, at this point, you're starting to doubt yourself. Let me drop this nugget for the people at home. 0-8 in his last 8 games as a starter. Them losses, they add up a lot faster than wins now, Marcel.
But that's not who Cam Newton is. That's the thing. I played injured. I had success being injured, and then I had to pay the piper. And realizing that I was taking a chunk of flesh every single time I went out there, regardless of result. And I want Cam to remind himself of that. This is a guy in 2018, when he was an MVP frontrunner, had a completion percentage of 68. That's 8 percentage points higher than when he won the MVP. He was still balling. And then you get into this vacuum of just trying to do it for the team, do it for the culture. Hey, if I can walk, I can run, and I can play. That's not the case. Cam Newton, as last seen healthy, is still a great player. When I see a post like this, It reminds me of an episode of this show LeBron James actually produced called Survivor's Remorse.
Okay.
Amazing show to me. Not too many people out there. But there was a moment where the protagonist was talking to the owner of his team, basketball player, and he wanted to be respected. And he told the owner, I'm a grown-ass man. And the owner said, you know who doesn't say that? Grown-ass men. Cam is talking to himself. When you state the obvious, it's really an insecurity. I want Cam to just dismiss himself from all this encouragement and motivation and just be Cam.
But here's the problem, bro. Just being Cam is stylish, it's flashy, it's flamboyant, it has all the swagger. But you know the saying, look good, feel good. Feel good, play good.
Prime
And if
time.
you play good, they pay good. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Cam Newton hasn't played good. So the checks, they ain't paying good. And so he probably don't feel all that good. And clearly he don't look like the Cam we're seeing. And so I don't know. I mean, if you're Cam Newton and you haven't really been Cam for 36 months,
Yeah.
you can't be mad at him. And you have to understand the doubts that are creeping in.
Are you validating and justifying the doubt? Is that what you're doing right now? It sounds like it.
As a person who stands on the top of the mountain with my Cam Newton flag, and I plant my Cam Newton flag there, and you're telling me you're on the top of the mountain.
You looking up and seeing me, dude.
It's good to see you at the top of the mountain.
Right.
As a person who's at the top of that mountain, I'm looking at myself as one of Cam's biggest fans and saying, dang, does Cam still have it? I'm looking at myself and saying,
You
man,
are?
I am.
And that's why Cam is talking to ghosts. And I thought they were ghosts, but there are real people like you who are really doubting his ability right now because he went out there and showed you his ability compromised.
What I'm doubting, I'm not doubting Cam's ability. I'm doubting Cam's health. And I don't think that is a insincere, or I don't think that is an invalid doubt, because all we can do is look at history. 2015, like we talked about, MVP season. 2016, he still starts 14 games. 2017, he starts 16 out of 16 games. Like you said, going into 2018, the expectations were high. The Panthers were still doing their thing.
And he was 6-2 and balling.
And then he gets hurt.
And then you should stop the tape and say, I will resume once I see him again.
What do they say in this? What do they say in football, bro? When you played longer than I, the best ability is what?
Availability.
It's availability, coach.
Okay, but here's another one. On the back of that jersey is your name. Your full name. Your name would be Acho, not not Ach. Why are you cutting off who Cam Newton is and not giving him his fullness? Because he was out there trying to do it for others, not in his best sense.
Let me ask you this, because as I look at the NFL and I look at the landscape, if I were a team, I like Cam Newton over about 3 quarterbacks right now. I like him over Jarrett Stidham in New England.
Yeah.
I like him over Phillip Rivers, I got to be honest, in Indianapolis. And I still would like him in L.A. over the Chargers, the rookie they just drafted in Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert.
Outside of those 3 teams, I don't know if I'm a head coach, and you see they change coaches like they change clothes now. If I'm a head coach, I don't know if you can take that chance on Cam like you want to blindly have faith in the Cam of old.
Ooh, all right. So a one-legged Cam is better than 3 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. A 2-legged Cam is still an MVP candidate. Just trust me on that one. Coming up, we got some surprising news about the alleged noose incident in NASCAR yesterday. We'll dive into the latest on Bubba Wallace's reaction. Next!
Well, let's head to NASCAR, which was rocked by allegations of racism over the weekend, when a noose was found hanging in the garage stall of Bubba Wallace. The entire sport rallied around Wallace before the race at Talladega, but now the FBI has concluded it wasn't a hate crime, but did confirm it was a rope tied in a noose that has been there since last fall. Bubba says he's relieved it wasn't a hate crime directed at him, but is still frustrated that people are questioning his character. So, Marcellus, do you like how Bubba is handling this whole situation?
I don't. And it's unfortunate because I feel bad for him. He didn't ask for this moment.
Not at all.
He didn't ask for this to land on his lap. But I am not supportive of his response. This morning, it was encouraging to see him come along. But last night, watching him on interviews and CNN and Don Lemon, watching him this morning, you can see the evolution of him starting to grasp what is at play right here. And here's the issue that I have. And before we get deep, are you okay having an uncomfortable conversation with a black man? As the first black guest on that's at the same show. Here you go. He's upset that people are questioning him, his character, his integrity. Did he make this up? When in reality, I think the deeper, greater, grander issue is he's just tired of being questioned on race in a sport where he sticks out, where he feels unique to the point where maybe token is a feeling that he feels. And you could listen to his background and his mother and the conversations he's had and all the incidents, as egregious as they've been over the years that have accumulated to a point where finally everyone understands what he's been seeing and feeling. There's a noose in his garage. And that's a watershed moment. And then within a few hours, that watershed moment doesn't hold its water. And now he's stuck because he put on a jacket to bring the cause to NASCAR. And despite NASCAR in 2015 trying to ban the Confederate flag, even last weekend it flew over. Even last weekend it was in trailers in front of the stadium. And I think that his deeper frustration and the reason he's answering this minority of criticism that's coming from people saying, oh, you're faking it, is because he's been waiting his entire life to shine light on this. And now this isn't the moment to shine light on.
Let's make one thing abundantly and overtly clear.
Okay.
This wasn't Bubba Wallace's doing.
No.
Like, let's first and foremost get that out the way. Bubba Wallace did not find the noose. Bubba Wallace never saw the noose. It was reported to him by his team, by NASCAR. The other thing to make clear is that NASCAR put out a statement, a blatantly clear statement in that, hey, there may be a hate crime. We are investigating this. The FBI is now involved. So I pardon Bubba Wallace for how he has responded, because what it is, Marcellus, it's a fight or flight moment. I remember growing up as a kid, I might be home alone on a Friday night. Parents are out of town or watching one of my brother's games. And, you know, you hear the ice machine making some noise, but you don't realize it's the ice machine, so you freak out. You grab a fly swatter and you start navigating through your house thinking that there's a criminal inside.
Yeah.
And you realize, wait a second, man. It was just the ice machine. But you were still freaked out. You had your fists up.
Yeah.
That's the same reaction that Bubba Wallace is having. He hears about a noose, so he's freaked out. He has his fists up. He thinks that he is being attacked, when in reality, it wasn't the case. I don't blame Bubba Wallace because it's a fight or flight response. He was ready to fight. Now, thankfully, let's look at the bigger picture. Let's look at something we can all smile about.
Okay.
If not for this incident, we wouldn't have seen NASCAR come together in the manner that it has. If not for this incident, America's most segregated sport, I would argue.
No one would argue against it, probably.
America's most segregated sport wouldn't have band together in a unified way that we haven't even seen the country, America, unite like this. So I'm actually glad that it happened. I'll be honest. I'm glad that it happened because this jump-started something that we needed, which was unity, not only in the world, but in a sport like NASCAR.
Unfortunately, I can't go there with you, even though the spirit of what you're saying, yeah, anything to get the progress by hook or crook, let's go there. Except it matters what that incident is. And I tell you why. Because the naysayers, the critics, those on the other side, those who are reluctant to actually join in on this cause, will look at these moments post-incident and say, if you're not responsible in these moments, then the next incident, whatever may occur, people are not going to buy and believe in that moment.
Let me ask you something.
Be real.
Man.
That's called crying wolf, some would say.
But who wasn't responsible? Because it wasn't Bubba Wallace. Who cried wolf?
What's the question? The question is how he's handled it.
Of course.
He didn't put the noose there. He didn't even see the noose. But since then, there was a gravitation. There was a holding on to how he felt about something that they've proven that wasn't intended for him. So in that moment, if it were me, I am distancing myself from this noose because I'm not an intended victim. This is not a hate crime to me. And then that would allow all those who rallied around you to still show their solidarity and support. But when you start to sound and seem eager to be the victim, continuing after they said it's not for you and it's been there, why, at that moment, why not depart and start to rally those with you instead of talking to the minority that's against you?
But here's my thing, bro.
Please tell me that.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
Get a man a chance to sleep on it. Get a man a chance.
Well, then the man needs to go home and sleep and stop doing interviews until he can get his emotional state.
Last night, and this morning, completely different energy from Bubba Wallace. Last night, like you said, he went on Don Lemon's show, and he was still a little playing the victim. Well, yes, there was still a noose there.
Yes.
That's still an issue, etc. But then he woke up this morning, and we saw the statement he put out right before the show, essentially saying, I understand that it wasn't a hate crime. I think we can all laugh this off. We can all laugh at this. I don't know that Bubba Wallace ever played the victim. And you see the statement on the screen. I don't know that Bubba Wallace ever played the victim, Marcellus. He was a victim in his mind. And then he realized, wait a second, I'm not. I can breathe a little bit easier. And I have no problem with the man taking 12 hours, sleeping on something, waking up, and changing his response.
Look, they tried to give him the scarlet letter, a V.
They
victim.
did.
And he knew at a certain moment, I need to change clothes. I need to take this off. And you say sleep it off. Whatever you have to do, whatever your process is, because that's the responsibility of this moment. You rallied all of these people for something positive, but it was a watershed moment off of an incident. Once you realize that that is different information, different response. I love Bubba Wallace this morning in his post. Last night and this morning in interview, I was waiting for him to get to that post.
But don't you think that the issue at hand is Bubba Wallace has always received secondhand information? Let's address the real issue at hand.
Oh, we got real issues.
Let's address the real issue at hand.
Time.
The first thing he heard was, hey, there's reports of a noose. He never saw it. So as soon as he hears, hey, it wasn't actually a noose, he's still trying to figure things out. The man never actually witnessed anything firsthand himself.
Acho, I saw your girl kissing my homie.
You're going to have a reaction.
Yeah, but it ain't going to be full throttle. Yeah, buddy, you're going to find out, right? You're going to have to find out. And when he found out, they told him, why are you still full throttle? That was my thing last night. And it was only, 12 hours of full throttle when you knew you were in the wrong lane? And that was my only issue, just answering this question. I'm with you in spirit, but Bubba, take the beats as they come. And you know why people are really criticizing him? And it's not even his fault, once again. It's because this feels all too familiar for so many people. You want to be real? This cocktail's been served before. For whatever reasons, people are looking at, and I see it online, and I understand it, because I've been hearing it for too long.
Okay.
Someone who, there's 3 steps to this that seems in common. Someone who is defined as racially ambiguous.
Yep.
You know, mixed race, whatever you want to go. They're always questioned, not black enough, not white enough, and they don't have a carved experience and lane for them. So then they're always being questioned of who they are. So what happens? And in this situation, which is common to other situations, there's some kind of work issue going on. You were benched, Colin Kaepernick, because of injury. Or in this situation, in 88 starts, what do you finish in the top 10 6 times and top 5 twice? And people are like, we're talking about race, but also don't forget, you're a racer and you need to go out there. So some people were like, he's struggling to hold on to sponsorships. Everything is kind of, even Bubba said, it's been eating at him since 2017. He can't win a race. The last kind of ingredient in this cocktail is the sudden activated activism. Like, come on, be real.
But
be real, be real.
Wait.
It just seemed a month ago, he was on a different side.
You're right.
And I'm not mad at this. Please don't think I'm judging him. I'm just saying, hey, if you're going to pour me that drink, some people are going to spit it out.
But don't you think that activism can be activated by something? What I mean is,
yes, I agree.
I'm not mad at Bubba for taking a stand, a much more public stand now than maybe in 2011 and 12 and 13.
Or a month ago.
Or a month. Exactly.
With you.
Like, I'm not mad at Bubba for now taking a stand. It's not as if all of a sudden he's trying to put on his Superman cape and dun-dun-dun-dun, like Bubba Wallace to the rescue. That's not what it is. I think what Bubba Wallace is saying is, there has been activism being activated across other lanes, across other landscapes, across the world.
Yeah.
Now is my time. Here's what I am hoping. Because you brought up that name, Colin Kaepernick, and obviously that's a very polarizing name. What I am hoping is that this incident doesn't move the agenda and the progress that has been made. Meaning, I don't want people to look at things and say, well, that was a lie. Let me just get rid of anything that NASCAR was fighting for, any progress that Bubba Wallace was fighting for, because it's not as if Bubba Wallace created this incident on his own.
Okay, look, I'm a firm believer that people don't take from you, you give to them. So all these people who keep saying, don't let them hijack the calls, don't let them hijack your message, don't give them. Don't give it up. Like, stay steadfast, stay concise, and stay persistent with the message.
But sometimes people are going to try to take it even if it's not theirs to take and hijack. Remember, when you talk about the kneeling during the national anthem, that was nothing ever to be given. Because it was never, ever to disrespect the flag. That message was just hijacked. With Bubba Wallace, it's not as if he ever created this incident. The incident was created for him.
Acho, yes, you're right. But Acho, when Kaepernick's message, which is, it's not even his message. I grew up talking about police brutality. I was a victim of police issues and incidents before. There's songs that go back to the 50s and 60s talking about this. So to put it all on Kaepernick is kind of unfortunate for him and for the cause. This has been a long time issue. But when it was getting derailed, the leader of that, the messenger, has to return it back to form.
Fair.
And Cap was absent in that respect. That's why I think it got taken away. That said, you have to agree with me on this one. Let's keep it real, man. I'm a big Keith Sweat fan. Keith Sweat said, something, 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 something just ain't right. Admit it. And no matter where you are on this issue, it gives you some pause in terms of 100% conviction of the beats of that. And to me, that's unfortunate because this was a watershed moment. This still will be, with the momentum, a watershed moment for NASCAR. But Bubba, Don Lemon told him, stop reading social media. Stop listening to the trolls. That is a loud minority. Bubba should have went to sleep, woke up, and been Bubba this morning, yesterday.
I understand what you're saying. I just hope that this situation is still looked at in a positive light.
I'm with you.
But coming up, one of LeBron's key teammates just announced he won't be joining the NBA's relaunch. We'll tell you what that means for King James next. Speak for yourself.
Though some of our other favorite sports may be on hold, horse racing is still running strong. Live coverage of top-tier races on FS1 and FS2 throughout June. You can enjoy horse racing from top tracks across the country all month long. Visit americasbestracing.net/strong to learn more. Welcome back. Let's move now to the NBA, where LeBron James just got some bad news, with teammate Avery Bradley announcing he won't be joining the Lakers for the NBA relaunch in Orlando next month. Bradley said he made the decision to protect his 6-year-old son, who has a history of struggling with respiratory illness. No doubt, this is a huge loss for a Lakers team with its sights set on a title. We're joined now by Fox NBA analyst Slick Rick Dubuker. And Acho, I'm going to start with you. Should everyone, including LeBron, be bothered by this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But LeBron should be bothered for 2 reasons, gentlemen. The first being, am I more committed than some of my teammates? Avery Bradley, I know him. We went to Texas together the same year. Great person. I've seen him train in the offseason. I know his commitment and his dedication to the game. But LeBron is out here trying to win chips. LeBron realizes every year his legacy will move upwards or downwards in the eyes of so many of us talking heads and so many fans based on how many championships he can win. So if I'm LeBron, I'm bothered by that because of commitment. That's the first reason. But then my second reason I'm bothered if I'm LeBron is this, gentlemen. I might need Avery Bradley.
You think?
I might need Avery Bradley desperately. He started the last 34 games for the Lakers. The dude had been in his bag. He's a two-way player offensively and defensively. Former first-team all-defensive player back in 2016. This is a dude you might need to make a run deep into the playoffs. So not only are you a little concerned if you're LeBron, because you got to make sure that you in this battle, you're in this war to win a chip, you got to make sure everybody's in it with you. You got to make sure the man to your left and the man to your right are fighting like you're fighting. But also, more importantly, you might need Avery Bradley to steal you a game here and there.
100% that they could certainly use, if not need, Avery Bradley. But LeBron James can't be bothered by this. He can't complain because no one has talked as loud and long as LeBron has about the importance of family. And if Avery is concerned about the health of his 6-year-old son, then who is LeBron to say that that shouldn't be the priority? Now, the Lakers absolutely have reason, or a case can be made to question this because, look, I appreciate Avery's priorities, but I left ESPN essentially because my kids were 5 and 7 and I was always gone. And I wanted to see them grow up. But that was a no end in sight proposition. Avery, we're talking about 3 months. The Lakers could well say, okay, I understand you're worried about the health of your son. Spend the 3 months, don't bring your family. That's certainly within the realm. And if LeBron really wants to sell this case, if he really needs Avery Bradley, here's his entry into that. Avery, dog, let's run this together. I tell you what, I want you on the ride. I'm not going to take my family to Orlando. Let's do this together. The message that would send, the focus, solidarity would be, even if Avery says, nah, you know what? Still not worth it. I'm going to take a pass. LeBron would come out smelling like roses, and it would send that focus, Acho, that you're talking about, send that message to the rest of the team about where his priorities really lie.
Yeah, LeBron should be pissed. Let me just keep it frank. And he should be pissed. We don't need any glowing reasons. We don't need to go and pull at the heartstrings. We need to just respect that LeBron should be pissed because Avery Bradley is tapping. And I'm going to tell you that this tapping is unfortunate when you talk about a team concept, because I don't understand what contract these guys have signed of late, where in the contract, you know that you're only getting paid all those millions of bucks for service, for actually working from beginning to end. You can't let your life get in the way of your work. And I know a lot of people are like, what? What do you mean? I'm going to tell you what I mean. I went to Dallas in 2004. And right when the season was starting, my mother flies out, routine trip, to tell me about what's going on in her life and see her baby play for the Dallas Cowboys, my dad's favorite team. But this was a trip that was different. My mother tells me at the time she has breast cancer. Immediately, I want to quit football. Immediately, I want to tap out on my teammates because I am justified in doing that. My mother talked me into playing. My mother talked to me throughout the entire process. She died that next offseason. And the reason I bring that up is because if you really want to examine everyone in professional sports, their life, the deeper issues that they're dealing with, I'm sure you're going to discover a lot of people who have justifiable reasons emotionally to not go out there and play. But the beautiful ability of being an athlete is that ability to compartmentalize, that ability to still show service and sacrifice, even though you may be getting pulled in the other direction.
You're right in that we have seen some athletes overcome some of their greatest family trials by playing the sport. I'm reminiscent of, remember Brett Favre, after his father died, if I'm not mistaken, he went out and he bawled. But while I will applaud an athlete for playing in spite of a family or emotional difficulty, I won't knock an athlete who chooses not to. That's not my primary beef. My primary beef, Marcellus, is remember 1990. Eastern Conference Finals, Bulls versus Pistons. Scottie Pippen gets the migraine, doesn't play, has to pull himself out. Remember, we hear Michael Jordan talk about that 30 years later. And when Jordan is talking about it 30 years later, you can still hear in his voice yeah, I mean, I guess Scottie had a migraine. You can still hear
salty.
that Jordan is still mad about that. Now, obviously, we've all had migraines, I think, trying to play at a high level. Like, you were literally crippled by that. My fear is that LeBron might look up 20, 25, 30 years down the road if the Lakers get knocked out, because you do lose a stud two-way player, a guy who has contributed at least. Make no mistake about it. Remember, the last time the Lakers played the Clippers, a team they will likely face deep into the playoffs, Avery Bradley had 24 points on 6 of 12 shooting from the three-point line. So let's not act like Avery Bradley can't ball at any given moment. But my fear is that LeBron might look up and be like, yeah, Avery Bradley had to take care of his family, I guess. That's the problem. That is why I have an issue if I'm LeBron.
Yes.
The issue I have with both of you in this circumstance is that we're talking about a very unusual situation. We're not talking about business as usual. We're talking about a pandemic and about people that have been dying across the country. And we're also talking about kids. And that's where, whether it's Trevor Ariza or whether it's Avery Bradley, there's just a part of me that I cannot judge another man or another family in what they decide to do to protect theirs. And so I'm going to give him a pass as far as what is motivating him in this circumstance. And I understand we all need to show up. We all have to make difficult decisions. But in this particular case, in this particular situation, I'm not going to second guess a guy in saying, look, I know I have a job and I get paid an awful lot of money, but it's not worth it to me under these circumstances to put my son's health at risk.
Oh, you convinced me. Okay. Well, there goes your Kawhi stopper. Sorry, Lakers. Clippers going to run through y'all now. Ain't nobody back there to defend us. All right, let's go on elsewhere in the NBA, where the Nuggets just got some bad news of their own, with one of the league's biggest stars, Nikola Jokic, testing positive for the coronavirus in his home country of Serbia. The positive test has delayed Jokic's return to the U.S., but reportedly he is asymptomatic and is expected to be cleared for travel within a week. Even so, with the NBA gearing up for relaunch, this can't be welcome news for the association. Cho, how concerned should the NBA be about this?
Not at all. I'm going to keep it real with y'all watching at home. What people don't realize is in pro sports, even in high-level college sports, it's the next man up mentality. Marcellus, if you and I were on a football field, you know how it goes down. If I roll my ankle, honestly, say I fracture my ankle during practice and we're on the 25-yard line in a team drill. I'm on the ground crying, screaming,
Come get out, Cho!
You're going to hear that. You're going to hear that. But you're also going to hear this. The whistle blow and the head coach say, move it up, 15 yards. That's just as simple as that.
Heartless.
You just keep it going. It don't matter if you got another guy who with a torn ACL, a torn Achilles, a ruptured hamstring. You just move it up. You know, we hear, I think it's in the military, the phrase, no man left behind. Well, in sports, that's not the case. It's every man left behind at this point. So I'm not really concerned because what the NFL, what the NBA, what college football, what every professional league is starting to show us is that we're going to move forward in spite of COVID. We're going to try to keep letting these games be played. If you're the Nuggets, obviously you have to be concerned. But outside of that, I'm not concerned of this being detrimental for the entire league.
The Nuggets have to be concerned because there is no second Nikola Jokic on that roster, and they're a little bit thin when it comes to superstars to begin with. I'm not even sure, outside of Jokic, maybe Jamal Murray, and then the road ends. They shouldn't be concerned, though, because this is why they set this up, is to have everybody tested, to bring them in, and then have the opportunity to keep everybody in quarantine and get everybody healthy and close the bubble. So we're 5 weeks away from any meaningful games being played. So that's not the concern. The league should be concerned because they're going to create this bubble in Florida, which is a hotbed for coronavirus right now. And there are going to be people that are going to be going in and out of the bubble when it comes to hotel workers and various people that are going to be crossing paths with various NBA personnel. And I'm not even worried about the players so much because, as it was noted, Jokic is asymptomatic, but Mike D'Antoni is 69 years old. Alvin Gentry is 65. Pat Riley is 75. Are you going to tell him he's going to stay home? Like, there's plenty of personnel that are instrumental to this that could be affected, and they will not be asymptomatic. And the big concern is that you lose someone or something that now creates a question of the validity of the champion that you create. And that's the concern that I would have. It's where they are and how they control the fact that Florida is a hotbed is the greater concern for me.
I got a greater concern that Pat Riley is older than Alvin Gentry and looks like that. Like, I mean, if I'm Alvin Gentry, I'm sitting there like,
Pat Riley.
I got some other issues going on in my life. Oh, here's the issue, though, for me, that you have to be concerned for the product, not necessarily the business. In terms of games played and the quantity of games, yeah, they're going to just keep mowing through this. But the problem is the asterisk that is already floating out there. The problem is the integrity of the game, the compromised playoffs. It's Jokic now. Could it be Kawhi later? Could it be LeBron? Could it be Paul George? And then what does that champion look like? It's okay if you advance without Jokic, because people are like, oh, they're going to be even better. But what if you lose without Jokic? What if the Lakers lose without LeBron? You imagine what this season is going to look like? So, yeah, the business will flow, and we understand the money will be made and the games will be played. But it will turn into a leaky water hose. And anybody who's ever grown up with a leaky water hose, some water does come out, but a lot goes a lot of other directions. So that's going to be a real big issue in terms of going forward. How can the NBA fix something that's going to get disjointed because of Corona? Coming up, it looks like Antonio Brown may finally have some teams interested in signing him. We'll tell you if AB is worth the risk. Next! Speak for Yourself is presented by Hyundai.
Welcome back. Let's return to the NFL, which is exactly what Antonio Brown is trying to do. After spending most of last season in limbo, AB might finally have a couple teams willing to take a chance on him. Reportedly, the Ravens and Seahawks have both been discussing signing the troubled receiver. We're joined now by a man I used to kill it on Madden with, big bro, LeVar Arrington. But Marcellus, I'll start with you. It's been a roller coaster for AB this past year. You think a team should take a chance on him?
What Ice Cube say in the beginning of What Can I Do? Hell yeah, and they are. Think about this, the risk-reward relationship in AB and that potential. Like AB, a future Hall of Famer, is sitting on the shelf somewhere. And I'm going to tell you something candidly, America, about football and inside a general manager's mind. A football player that great in potential doesn't die in your head. He dies on the field, even if he's killed someone off the field, if you understand where I'm coming from. A coach, a general manager wants to exhaust all of your ability on the field. And we've seen it play out with countless number of people who've had indiscretions and still found themselves on a football field. I found myself in that same situation as well. When I was coming down the hill, coming down the mountain with no brakes, fast, left San Diego, went to Dallas. Bill Parcells was like, hey, I heard this. I heard you kind of getting low. The tank is a little empty. We're going to figure it out. I died on that field. And then Jacksonville tried to resuscitate me for 2 years and say, no, he ain't dead yet. We're going to make sure.
Wake up, Marcellus.
Wake up, Marcellus.
Wake up.
I ain't doing a damn thing in Jayville. The point is, you know how far AB is from me in Jacksonville, and I was still getting gigs? Trust me, he's still on the good side of the risk-reward relationship. He'll have a job.
Yeah, I certainly believe that he's going to have a job. He should have an opportunity, and he will have an opportunity. There are two reasons why I think, very simple reasons why I think he will. One, the only real headline we've heard of AB this offseason is what? Country Prime, which is a great headline. It's not a bad headline. Right. So when you think about the fact that quiet makes for comfort, right? The more quiet AB is, the more comfortable these GMs and decision makers are going to be with bringing AB around. Now, the second point is it's kind of interesting because I'll use an example to lead into what I just mentioned about Country Prime. In Rocky IV, there was a dude by the name of Tony Evers. They called him the Duke, all right? He was the trainer to one Apollo Creed, all right? The bald-headed dude. We all know who he was. Yes. Throw the goddamn towel, right? Right, there you go, okay? Here's the reason why that man is important. Because Deion Country Prime Sanders is Tony Duke Evers to AB Rocky Balboa going into the Soviet Union to fight Ivan Drago, right? The old Rocky was retired. He was chilling, wasn't in the profession, and needed that fire and needed that guidance to get himself back on that right track. Yeah. So right now, I'm giving all of the advocacy points, all of the credit to, obviously to Antonio Brown, but I'm giving it to Prime for being that person that actually will show and put his own reputation on the line, which is important here. For Deion to put his reputation on the line for him, I think is a big move, and I think it'll be ultimately the reason why AB has this opportunity to get back.
Gentlemen, y'all driving me crazy.
Oh, here you go.
Gentlemen.
First day already?
Gentlemen.
Tripping.
LeVar, you said that, you know, AB hasn't been in the headlines all offseason. We're in the middle of a national pandemic. I would hope that AB wouldn't make the headlines over the coronavirus.
Good point.
Let's not assume.
That's what I would
They
hope.
got a point. They got a point.
But let me do this. Let me make something abundantly clear first and foremost. AB over the course of the last decade 1,500 yards, 1,700 yards, 1,800 yards, 1,500 yards, 1,300 yards, 1,300 yards. So let me make abundantly clear his skill level. Now, with all that being said, you don't take a chance on AB right now, especially not if you're the Seahawks or the Ravens. Why? If you're the Ravens, you already got Hollywood Brown, a speedster out there receiver. But beyond that, you barely use your receivers because you got a running back, you drafted another running back, you got tight ends galore, and if you want to throw the ball out wide, like I just said, you got Hollywood Brown. If you're the Seahawks, you have Jesus and Russell Wilson at quarterback. I mean, you literally have a man who is the most clean-cut, well-represented, no issues on or off the field guy at your quarterback, and you're going to bring in AB. It just doesn't make sense. Not because AB's not talented. AB's freak talented. To me, he's the best receiver of the 2010s. He's the best receiver of the last decade. But if there can be addition by subtraction, gentlemen, there can also be subtraction by addition.
Boy, he went the Converse on me.
And I think that AB would be some level of subtraction by addition.
LeVar, get him, please.
You want me to handle this?
Handle this, homie.
I'm going to handle this. When was the last time, Mr. Young Macho Acho, have you heard of there being too much talent on one team?
Yeah.
All right, you just named Hollywood. Give me the other one. Give me the other playmaker.
Willie
Give me the other one.
You better recognize.
Give me the other one.
Keep going.
Snead can play.
He's a baller. But they ain't using him.
Neither one are one AB. You bring in a guy like AB, you can use him. Even if the role is minimized, the amount of talent that you have. And you use the pandemic, and I'm glad you used that because it's interesting. The point of the pandemic actually works to someone like AB's his advantage. And this is the reason why. You have less time to prepare. That means that all these young receivers that everybody's looking at, that they're going to be depending on, they're going to be behind the learning curve. And if you understand this game of the NFL football, you got to be prepared to be able to play at a high level against these veterans out there. Well, how do you offset something like that? Not having all the time that you need to do the mini camps and the OTAs and all those different prep periods. You bring in a veteran. And you bring in somebody who understands what it means to win. And somebody like AB, where he's at right now, this pandemic actually works in his favor and his advantage to get an opportunity because of that veteran knowledge of what he brings to the table.
Let me keep it simple. Russell Wilson likes plays to break down. AB is a mother on his initial route. On play breakdown, alternate route, covering AB in that offense. Lord, are you kidding me? Acho, they're going to sign him. They need it.
Here's my thing, gentlemen. LeVar, you talked about a team can't have too much talent. I believe the 2011 Dream Team Eagles would make an argument about maybe a team can't have too much talent, too many distractions.
No.
I mean,
no.
What you knowing for?
The Eagles were no good until they won that first Super Bowl. That Dream Team was not qualified. I'm sorry, not with Reggie White, not with Randall Cunningham. None of them. Totally disqualified.
Look, we're going to continue this one later.
Yeah, we are.
Coming up, I made it through day one, but I hear Uncle Jimmy got some opinions about it. We going to hear from him next. Speak for yourself, presented by Hyundai.
Welcome back, Acho. Thought you had a great day up here, your first day, but we got to see what my man Uncle Jimmy says. Jim, what'd you think of day one, Acho?
Hey, man, first of all, man, I want to say welcome to the Speak for Yourself family, to Brother Emmanuel Echo. All right? I'm Uncle Jimmy. I am the elder spokesperson for this congregation. And, man, let me tell you something. First and foremost, man, let me apologize to you for that singing that Marcellus Wiley did earlier in the show. Now, I know what he told you it was, but I could tell from the look on your face that you thought he sounded more like Beef Sweat than Keith Sweat, all right? But listen, man, don't worry about it, all right? Me and you gonna be all right, because I'm a big fan of yours. I love them videos you got. What they call an awkward conversation with a muscular black dude. You kind of just roll off the tongue a little bit, man. I kind of like it, man. Let me tell you something. I'm looking forward to the day of walking into the studio and you having the pleasure of meeting me face to face, all right? I'm looking forward to it, all right? Tell him about me, Brother Wiley.
I'm going to tell him about you in that 8th grade suit you got on, man. Hey, Brother Jimmy O is the best, man.
Jimmy.
You are a nut. Hey, happy first day, Acho. That's it for us. America, stay safe out there.